I don't want to go into a full-on mindset meeting here, but like we ask the guys all the time, like what are we asking you to do that you don't understand? I'm like, what do you mean? Like you get out, like ask a high school kid how many times they've been told to go out and be a leader today. And they'll be like 1,000, right? And they say, okay, what's your coach's definition of leadership? And you get this look right here.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and then you ask their coach, what's your definition of leadership? You know what look you get? The same one.
Mm-hmm. It's like, oh yeah.
It's like, how are you going to ask them to do something that you can't even define?
Yeah.
So we've defined leadership for our guys, right? We've defined, like, we're going to make you mentally tough. What is mental toughness? What is mental toughness? I'll ask you guys, what is mental toughness?
Oh gosh.
I have a really far right answer to that because where I trained for years.
Yeah, well, so what, great. What is
Yeah.
mental toughness?
Mental toughness is continuing to go until you cease to exist.
I love it.
That's pretty much it. From where
Okay.
I come from.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
That's something mentally tough people do.
Mhm.
Okay. And you're 100% right. And especially from the lens that you're viewing it from. Absolutely. It's a prerequisite requirement. But what is mental toughness? And what made, like you actually hit on one of the words is continuously. All right. So we'll keep going. Chadwick, what is mental toughness? Are you on your Zoom?
We both are. We actually were both talking about that.
Okay.
We were both talking about that. We're like, if we get a huge viewership, someone's going to eventually say something about it. You're the first one to say something about it, which I enjoy. I think a little bit of a scenario is a little bit better for me. There is, it's the willingness of, if I can't swim, or maybe I'm not a good swimmer and you put me in deep water, am I going to drown? Let's say I can see land. Am I going to drown, or I'm going to attempt to swim there and maybe die, but die halfway in between? Mental toughness is a weird one. I go back and forth because I've seen guys who I thought especially as a strength coach, because it's like, can we develop this? Because you've been here, a head strength coach or a head football coach comes to you and says, I need you to make them more mentally tough. It's like, I need you to recruit mentally tough people and we're good. But there is a part of me that has seen people, it's like, did they always have that in them? Or did I pull that out of them or put them in a situation where we actually got better because they believe in themselves? Yeah. So I've now come to believe that, I don't know, some people have a mental toughness that is there, but if you don't, or they don't find a way to unlock that and realize that they got more to go through, and they can continue to dig down, it's a not giving up, in its simplest terms for me. When you're faced with adversity, you're faced with anything, if you have no give up, like I'm going to die before I give up, that's mental toughness. It's just like, what degree and how deep is that for you as a human?
So yeah, and so I love the swimming example. That is what a mentally tough person would do. And again, so I love this question because
great.
I would argue that you two guys have a better, like if you do what you do right here all the time, like you have these abstract conversations about topics just like this. But I love this because you're both very knowledgeable and very in tune, but you're struggling to answer a very simple question.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And
yeah.
But okay, imagine an 18 to 22-year-old kid who has never had these conversations before, and you ask them what mental toughness is, they have no clue.
Yeah.
And they'll give you 100 examples of what mentally tough people do, but they won't define mental toughness. And oftentimes the coaches can't either. All right. Because mental toughness is really, really simple. Okay. It's a simple concept. All right. It's a long definition, but it's a simple concept. Mental toughness is sustaining. I'm gonna say the definition, and we're gonna go back and break it down. Okay. Mental toughness is sustaining the highest level of focus, dedication, and performance throughout an entire competitive calendar. Now that's for football players. I specifically, so for you could just say throughout life or throughout whatever.
Yeah.
But it's sustained throughout. So sustain means to continuously do something, all right, without changing. That's what sustain is. Yep. And then throughout whatever it is, all right, throughout. But let's talk about the highest, not any level, the highest level of focus. What is focus? Focus is be where your feet are, be present in the moment. Mm-hmm. Dedication means whatever that moment is. Whatever that moment, whether you're on a Zoom, all right, you're on a Zoom talking about strength and conditioning, or if you're in a meeting talking about football, or you're in class, or you're at defensive driving school because you get tickets. I wouldn't know anything about that. or your whatever it is, and then performing at your best. Now, to your point, when you said when things seem insurmountable and you give up, like that's not mental toughness. If things seem insurmountable and you keep going, that's toughness. Yes, that's what tough people do, but that's only part of the equation. If you know you're going to lose and you give up, you're soft. If you know you're going to win and you let your foot off the gas, you're soft. If you have no clue what the outcome is going to be and you let off the gas, you're soft. That is not toughness. Toughness requires the highest level of performance that you're capable of in every single moment, all the time, forever. Can you imagine how challenging that is? That's why it defines toughness. But so you can give me 1,000 examples of what mentally tough people do, but if you give people the definition of toughness, then no matter what the situation is, even if I haven't told you what tough people do in that situation, they can now apply this concept to every situation. So mental toughness, I've dropped in the middle of a deep water and there's land on the horizon. I'm going to perform at my best. I'm going to give everything I have to get to that land before I drown. That's what a tough person would do, right? A million scenarios. It's hot outside.
Sure.
And I've got to keep running, right? Mental toughness is performing at your highest level. And here's how this is huge. If you run to the point where you're overheated and fall out, you're no longer performing at your highest level. Do you see how running until you black out is not mental toughness? It's stupidity. If I'm so diminished in capacity because of the heat and dehydration, and I don't say anything, you know what mental toughness is? Going to your strength coach, say, Coach, I'm dizzy. Like something's wrong. Now, softness would be going and saying that so you don't have to run when you're not dizzy. So again,
yeah, you see both for sure.
And from my perspective, you kind of have to treat both the same just because whatever. But if you're teaching guys what true mental toughness is, every scenario they find themselves in, they can apply this conceptual understanding of what toughness is and usually come out on top.
Yeah,
and
I think
part of mental toughness as a coach is if I program a workout that bangs you up so bad that you can't come in and give your best the next day, that's on me. Whatever workout I put in front of you, you should give me everything you got to perform at your highest level the entire time we're doing it. That's what toughness is.